Good day to you, listener. I talk as if I'm in radio communication, when you are talking on radio and when you are communicating even to the audience, you assume it's one person that you are addressing because the target is to minister to that particular person or to communicate with that person and let him have an effective, let there be effective communication between both of you. Yeah, today we are still in English, and when you find out what students are doing, students don't easily get comprehension passages and how to answer the same. Comprehension passages or texts which are given to them so that they can summarize answering questions under summary. So these are tips towards answering questions, either the comprehension passage or even the summary that you have to do what is called summary writing. There is a device that we have somewhere. We call it 3 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours. And the R concerning this are towards answering questions in comprehension passages and even to summarize. The first of the R, because it's 3 R, the first of the R is about reading. So the 3 R's particularly are read, read, and read. Read, read, and read. So the first reading that you're going to do after you have been given your text, the question paper, the best thing is to concentrate on what you want to do, because at that point in time, all you have to do is to be at the best of your performance, because you want to earn marks. Examiners, those who are going to mark your paper, all they are looking for is your fault. So it's your mistakes, and that's what they will grade you on. So the best thing is to first of all do the reading. We call it these days, according to internet language or jargon, that you browse through the passage or the text. Browsing through the passage or the text. It requires that you should be fast in reading at first. Not only the text, but also the questions. You also fast read through the questions that are being asked. So you read through the text, irrespective of the number of paragraphs that it contains. So as you are reading through or you are browsing through, you pay attention to the words, to the passages, to the paragraphs particularly. Don't forget, a paragraph particularly is a collection of sentences that speak mainly on a point. So the first topic or the first sentence you find in a paragraph is called the topic sentence. That is, in this paragraph, this is the topic the writer will be talking about, and so you pay attention to the topic sentence, the first sentence that you find in a paragraph, and so that you can understand what the point is that the person is making. So understanding is essential. At that point in time that you are browsing through or you are fast reading through the text and then the questions following. Irrespective of the number of questions following, please try and read. Irrespective of the subsections of the questions, please try and read through it. So the first R of the 3 R's is read or reading. Secondly, the reading is the second part. Read also. As I said, the 3 R's, read, read, and read. So the second reading also should be slow, because you have read through the text, you have read through the questions, and then you must have taken note of certain points. You must have noticed some points, you must have taken some points. So your slow reading is to verify the points that have been made. Don't forget, I said the paragraph collection of sentences, but always stressing on a point, on a fact. So once you have held on to the facts in each of the passages, in each of the paragraphs, I advise students to always take a pencil, or even if it is a pen that you are using, underline points when you come across it in the passage. So those things that you have noticed, those things you have taken note, those points that you have taken note, try and verify them, particularly as related to the questions that you have, that you have been given, so that you can answer. I'm sure by the time you do second reading, you have verified some of your points, what you really want to jot down, then you go in to what we call the outlining, the writing of what you yourself want to put down as answers. So the third reading is coming in because you have verified the points that you have taken, you have almost answered, you have given an outline of what you are going to give as answers to the questions that you have. So the third reading comes in here. The third reading can be fast and it can be slow, depending on the student that is concerned, or at that point in time that the candidate. So the essence of the third reading, either fast or slow, is to consolidate your points that you have put down as outline of your answers. The outline of your answers. Your outline, don't forget, is how you really want to set out to answer the questions. Like the person who wrote has used paragraphs to state his points concurrently, so also you that you are answering, you must answer and place your points in regular manner, following each other the way it's supposed to be. One thing that follows in reading, I advise students too, just like when you are into the communication class, we talk about in journalism what we call 5 W's and H. 5 W's and H. 5 W's and H is talking about what, who, where, when, why, how. And of course, you know these are questions. So there are question words in English, question words in English, question words in English. So question words ask you these points. So as you are reading through, I advise students to do this. What is this man talking about? Or what is this author talking about? Somebody who has written this passage or who has written this text, what is he talking about? Who is he referring to? What happened? These are questions that will be at the back of your mind once you are going in, you are taking a comprehension exam, or you want to do a summary. Who is he talking about? Where did this incident happen? When did it happen? It will have been described even in the passage. Why did it happen? What caused what we are talking about? That's the why. And then how did it happen? How do I answer these questions? Those are the things that should be at the back of your mind when you are a student. It helps a lot to know the so-called 5 W's and H, or the question words that you use in languages. In linguistics, it's very essential you ask yourself this kind of questions so that you can really know what is being said in the passage that you really want to answer, and how do you put your words down. Are you supposed to quote from the passage? Some questions will require that you quote from the author. So how do you do it? When can you use some of the present tense or past tense and all the other kind of tenses that you have? So don't forget, that's it. Then the 5 W's also can be useful in outlining your points. What am I going to say concerning this question? When writing in English, you need also what is called the 5 W's. So I may be referring to it from time to time when you want to write in English, because in your paragraph, you yourself, or in the old text that you want to push out, in the old letter you want to write, in the old essay you want to write, in the composition you want to make, there must be your outlining of your points. There must be outlining of your points. You must have your introduction, you must have your body. The body will contain paragraphs, which you arrange the points accordingly, concurrently, following one another. So then you go to the conclusion, the introduction, the body, and then the conclusion. You must, in the outlining of all this, ask yourself these questions. What am I saying? Who am I talking about? What am I talking about? Where did it happen? When am I going to make when am I making reference to? Why am I talking about this? And how did it happen? Or how do I put all these points down? So this is what we are talking about. You must be able to read. You must be able to read and to read. If you are going to answer questions on a comprehension passage or composition passage, or when you want to do a summary of questions in a particular passage. This, I'm sure, is very, very useful to those of you who still want to take JAMB, you want to take WASC, or you want to take your WAEC. A very different levels of education.